Hello, my Tavern family and alt family. I have exciting news for us, and just want to say that we're living in such exciting times with great opportunities right now. So before I get into the good news, and I explain what I have in line for us to further succeed, let me just say thank you, thank you, thank you for not only believing in me but in trusting me and believing in this project and believing in what the studio stands for. Without you guys, this would not, none of this would be possible. Absolutely none of this. And it's all thanks to you guys. So with that being said, I'm putting my foot forward again and trying to make something of ourselves and really put us out there with as many great opportunities and high chances of succession. So, with that being said, number one, we're trying to get Henry Cavill. I have personally worked with him in the past with my co-work at the time when I was working at a nightclub. I have taken care of him and I have run into him twice, and we have our own little story, let's just say, right? So, we're trying to get him. I have recorded myself, but basically asking him to grant us an audience to hear what we have to say and what we have to offer. Second thing is that I have a letter that is already written and that will be sent to his emails and his Instagram account, so that will further enhance our chances of him seeing it, since we know he is ultra busy. He is an A-lister actor, and we don't know how things work, in their side of things. So we are trying to up that chance of him seeing it. So with that being said, I will post the actual letter to you guys, and I would like for you guys to copy and paste it and send it to these emails and Instagram if you have Instagram, to further enhance our chances of him seeing it, of course. Second thing is, why are we even trying to get Henry Cavill? Number one, this is our chance. This is our chance to speak to him, I believe, and that is because of the amount of corruption that's happening in Hollywood. Not just in Hollywood, now that I say it, but the amount of corruption happening in the movie industry slash shows and the video game industries. A lot of layoffs, a lot of agendas, a lot of wokeness, and all this crap that these big companies are trying to do. We are not like that. As you all know, I'm trying to be fair. I want us all to rise together, work together, and be successful together, and make cinema the way it should have been, or the way it used to be. So with that being said, let me explain why this is our chance to try to get Henry Cavill. Number one, Netflix. Netflix made a deal with Henry Cavill a while back, making The Witcher, which they made promises and all these amazing things, which made Henry Cavill super excited and really put his passion and utmost effort into it. In fact, he even put some of his money into the project, because he not only did he believe in the project, but he was also a huge fan of The Witcher. So he said that he would help keep the lore intact. In fact, he enhanced the show in tenfold by adding all these extra tidbits that the production crew didn't even know. In fact, the production crew themselves had no idea of what The Witcher was really about. They just saw a little bit of things, and they just went on with it. So Henry Cavill's the one had made it as great as it was before they turned their back on Henry Cavill. So the first season, we got to see a bit of how great it could be, but everybody has their own direction, and it didn't kind of go as well, but it went pretty good. Then, second season, the director and some of the higher ups decided, okay, we delivered our promise, and we no longer want to abide by it, and we don't want to use the lore. We want to change it up and do whatever we want with The Witcher. Henry Cavill stood his ground and tried to keep it to the lore, and told them, look, you guys made a promise, this is how we should do things, and he really tried to make things work. Well, the higher ups did not like that, and they started making rumors about him, terrible rumors about him, that he was mistreating the women and just acting out difficult to work with, and so on and so forth, trying to tarnish his name. This is Netflix, mind you. Thankfully, his fellow castmates um, came to his rescue and said, no, this is not true. In fact, he was the opposite. He's the one that made this successful, and he was the most sincere, amazing, kind person, and helped many of the actors find their way, and helped the youngest actress in there, as a matter of fact. With that, the fans found out, and they started boycotting the show and Netflix for a while, but mainly the show. And then they started slamming Netflix for being the way they are, and then they basically said the show is nothing without Henry Cavill. So Netflix said, you know what? We'll try to do it anyways. We don't need Henry Cavill. We'll just put someone else on there. Well, they put someone else. It got canceled. Next up, Henry Cavill talks to Warhammer. His favorite, one of his favorite tabletop games, Warhammer 40k, which is an outstanding game with an outstanding story and incredible visuals. Well, he told Warhammer, let's make a show of 40k, live action, and we can make this amazing. Warhammer said okay, but they needed the funds to make such an incredible project happen. Amazon got wind of it and said, hey, look, I like what you're doing. I have the money. Let's collaborate and let's make this happen. I'll make you executive producer, meaning you can do whatever you want. You are basically the director and everything above. Whatever you say goes. You can keep to your lore and do whatever you want. Henry Cavill, immediately out of joy, told all his fans, this is what's gonna happen. We're gonna make this happen. I got promises. Let's do this. As soon as he signed the contract, Amazon broke their promise and started changing the lore and changing the story around. And then, after Henry Cavill, again, feeling disappointed, stood his ground and said, no, you promised me this is how it's supposed to be, and we're only talking about this. Amazon started bullying Warhammer and the company that owns Warhammer into changing the lore so that they can be right. Which, by the way, they started lying to their fans early on. And then after changing the lore, they went to the fans and said, you see, we're not lying at all. This was always like this. Thankfully, not only Henry Cavill, but the fans fought back and said, no, this is absolute lies. And they showed pictures after pictures of the actual lore, and catching Amazon in their lies and their deceit. So of course Henry Cavill threatened to quit. And apparently, after multiple insiders from Warhammer leaked these messages out and got fired for it, we find out that Henry Cavill cannot just quit and leave because of the contract. And I guess he didn't read it all the way, but he got caught in it. So he decides he's not going to do anything, and just not do anything at all. So the project is not going anywhere. Amazon is trying to force it, but it looks like it's going to be abandoned and canceled. So Henry Cavill again is left disappointed, hurt, and lied to. And now he has a baby on the way. So he has even less time now, and he's feeling hurt, but he's still able to find jobs and doing other movies. But it's okay, because what we have to offer him, he can do at home and with the baby. So none of this would affect him in a bad way, and it's all positives. And there's no contract, so he can leave whenever he wants. He can say whatever he wants, and we're not under a big company, so we don't have an agenda. We are just here to make something of ourselves, to do what we like to do, and create something fun, create something amazing. So what we have to offer him, just so you guys are aware of, is that we have two genres right now, which is fantasy, medieval and fantasy, and we have sci-fi, thanks to the Alt project. Once we finalize a meeting with the third director with the project of making the 3D version of Attack on Titans, then we'll be able to have a third genre, which is the anime. And when we have funds, the third project will be able to make full-on episodes instead of just 10-second shorts like how they want to, because there's no funds. So that gives us a great opportunity, and I believe that it'll work. In the chance that it does not work, we still have our plan B, which is to try and get this famous YouTuber Penguin Zero, which is Charlie White, which I'm sure a lot of you know who that is. So he would be the next person that we would try to get a hold of, but we need your help. We need your help to really take the time to put extra time into this project, because we are diverting most of our energy now into our short, which will be a fight sequence, which is a deleted scene in our actual episode, which will be full of fighting, monsters, blood, guts, the works. So if that does work, we will have our sponsor, which will be Penguin Zero, and which will open up an array of opportunities, an array of advertisement. With just his name alone, would bring the funds to our pockets, which I intend to not only have him sponsor us, but we will still try to do a GoFundMe, Kickstarter, whatever we need to gain additional funds that we did on our own, and match them together to maximize not only our profit, but our quality and our time, to really make this worth it, because you guys really deserve it. We were once 8 people, now we are 68. So plus the alt project, we are 81 people, and we're about to be more once we secure the third project. So we really need to divert all of our energy into this short. So I am asking you guys to please find the time to put the effort into this short, and really put your best effort into it. In the case that plan A and B don't work, then I will use this short to help us gain the money on our Kickstarter, GoFundMe, and Patreon. And I will also mention the credentials that some of our key members have, that are from the movies and the shows, but also from the video game industry. With those names alone, people will flock over to help us out. Everybody loves an underdog story, the little guy versus the giant, and that's the story we're gonna give, because that is what's really happening at this moment. So we have all of our cards lined up, we have great opportunities up ahead, and I have a new way, I think this will work, but I have a new way of advertising our show, which I will go in person to these venues that have all these Dungeons and Dragon players and other fans of alike, and also Helldiver fans, and I will interview each and every one of them on what they think about when they hear our show being made, what's it about, what it's going to be made of, and I will also be interviewing them and recording their opinions on what they think about Helldivers 2 series being made. And with that, and with their positive responses, that will aid in our effort on gaining funds. Not to mention, we have incentives/perks lined up. And once the concept is finished for our last 2 main characters, I will also get 3 illustrators to make posters of our main characters doing something unique and fun and adventurous, just like this photo right here, to aid in our advertisement. So that is all I have for us, guys. Thank you again for all your work, all the passion that you put in, all the patience that you put up with us, and tune in next time on The Tavern. Good night.